Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to show off Paperize Alpha 5. Codename Reclusive Scrivener. It might be bigger than every release we've had so far. It's not my intention to have releases this big. Ideally, I'd be releasing often. Smaller things more often. I had a lot of big stuff to knock out, as you'll see. Some of it to do with styling, the way the product looks. Some of it to do with data, how the data is stored internally to Paperize, and also data, how it's stored remotely. So I've got a new solution to the serverless dilemma that I've been working with. And I'll show all this off, but it's really powerful stuff. I'm probably not making it sound very awesome, but it's awesome. It's very cool. So I think what we'll do is start with a tutorial. It's time to show stuff off. So thanks for watching. And yeah, you can get to the Patreon. You can go to paperize.io to see the Patreon and donate to support this work. If you want to play along with the new beta, you can go to beta.editor.paperize.io. You'll see that's the URL that I'm at. Again, that's beta.editor.paperize.io. And I will not have any idea that you are using the tool because there's no server and I don't track you. You'll see I've got a blurb here. Paperize is free as in free. It's free as in beer, which means you can have this piece of software to use as you wish. It's free as in speech, which means you can inspect, modify, and distribute the source code of this software. That one's still a lie today. I have not open sourced it yet, but that's more a formality. If I open source before it's kind of stable, I'll generate too much support for myself. So I just want to make sure that things are tight and in the direction that they're going to be ultimately going before I open source it. But the goal is to have it open, which, it's free from surveillance, which means it doesn't track you around the web and it doesn't access the data that you trust with it. So any data, any images, anything you put in, you can put trade secrets into Paperize because it doesn't leave your computer, or it does leave your computer, but it goes to Google Drive, if anything. So I know that Google technically owns Drive, but you own your Drive, you control the files in there, and Google doesn't want to steal your game. They really don't have any interest in your data at all. So you probably already have deals with them. Though I admit I would like to have other non-Google, more indie-friendly options available at some point. But today we're keeping it simple. I'm integrating with Google, really deep integration with Google, so that we can do some awesome stuff. And then later we'll add more providers. The last thing is Paperize is free from ads, which means it's clean to look at and pleasure to use. Man, ads are a scourge. All this, though, combined is really only possible because of the Patreon model. So the idea is that anyone on the planet can use this software, and it's on me to make it super scalable and cheap. And I believe I've done that. I believe that thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people could use this software tomorrow, and it really wouldn't cost me very much money because of the way that I've got it hosted as a static file and using only Google Drive as a server. So it's really cheap to use, really cheap to run for me. And then a small fraction of you lovely users who get value from the tool and have the privilege of extra money to spend can drop in, $1, $5, $20 on Patreon. Or if you're a bigger company and you want some exposure, I will have a documentation site at some point and sponsoring at higher levels, hundreds, thousands of dollars. The idea is that a small fraction of people who use the tool can and will pay for it, and that will make everything work. There's also a Discord if you want help using the tool, and that's available today. This is now embedded on the site, so the Discord link is right here. So yeah, there's this Discord widget on the homepage now. And if you have not joined the Discord yet, you can join it via this link. So basically, I'm ready to support you using the tool. I'm ready for you to use it. I'm not ready for everyone to use it, so don't go like posting this in the most obvious front page of Reddit board games or something, but we'll get there soon. That's beta 1. Once we get to beta, we'll be great. But this is alpha 5. It's still buggy. It's still feature incomplete. Getting some people to test it. So I'm hoping that's you. I'm hoping you'll dive in. I'm hoping you'll take to Discord and chat with me about what you're working on, about problems you're running into. And as you'll see, it's pretty easy for us to share files now. So I would be happy to jump into a screen share or otherwise and help you work on your game inside Paperize. No strings attached, because it's going to make the product better. Okay. Okay, today we're doing workflow tutorial. If you've been with me in the past, you know that my favorite simple tutorial is love letter. And so guess what? It's going to be love letter. Let's dive right into that. What is love letter? Love letter. I'm going to... Of course, I can't just Google love letter. Love letter board game. Love letter's a micro game, which means it's a tiny stack of cards. Yeah, you can see it right there. It's like 15, 16 cards, a bunch of little counters, and an instruction booklet. Plays super fast. It is strategic, but it's of the very most basic strategery. So, in a good way, it's lovely. It's a micro game. It just gives you the ping of game playing and dealing with your friends, in a quick, very portable box. Anyway, it was a hit when it came out. It kind of started a movement for micro games. I like it a lot. I think it's great. And it makes a good fodder for what we are doing here. So I'm going to take an image search. I'm going to go try to find a card or a series of cards. Actually, this looks... Gosh, this is like a print and play already, isn't it? Someone might have made this to be... Whatever. Great. How do I get this image? Google made it where it's hard to get the original images now, but... Oh, look at that. It's on the official site. Or an official site. Yeah, there we go. Okay. That's the image I'm going to work from. So I'm actually going to pull this over here. Side of my screen. Make it... There we go. It's lovely having huge monitors these days, and I'm not even using the resolution I usually use it at because I'm streaming. Okay, so I've got the list of cards over here. Great. Oh, and you can see I've been Googling for Mage Knight things. I'm thinking that Mage Knight will be the one we do for the advanced game, but we'll see. Okay. Great. Let's sign in to Paperize. So I'm going to sign in, and I've got this little pop-up inside Paperize, and the Google login pops up outside. I don't think I'm leaking any really super important content here. I'm sure someone will let me know if I am. But I'm going to sign in as lauren@oilandrope.com. Okay, so now there's this paperize.io folder right here in my Google Drive. So Paperize has saved something into the user's Google Drive. I pop it open. There's one file in there, paperize database.json, JSON. That's JavaScript object notation. Basically, it's a pile of data that Paperize can use. And right now it's empty. Because I haven't done anything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a game. I'm going to create Love Letter Extreme, which is what I'm making up. And I've got this checkbox here to create a Google Drive folder for this game. So the idea is that you'll organize things in Google Drive. Like, please lean on Google Drive. They've already got a whole file system thing. You can like manage stuff easily over there. If Paperize just points to those things, you'll be much more powerful. You'll have much more control because Google's going to have a lot more tools now already and going forward than I'm ever likely to build. I'm going to build the awesome, straightforward game creation tools, but all the kind of mundane, banal, normal stuff Google's already built. Just use it. Okay, you don't have to do that though. If you want to organize your files just in that working directory that is already created, the paperize.io directory, that's fine. And here it is right here. But this is pretty cool to have it create a folder for you. And you see I have this network tab here now as well. So it actually is letting you know when the app is talking to Google. I'm going to pop it open. You can see completed network requests. There were two. There's this create folder, and it created a folder named Love Letter Extreme. So it took the name of the game, and it updated a file. And this file just happens to be the database file, which it does. This is essentially auto-saving. It updates the database file, and these will have better names eventually. This will tell this actually tells you pretty well, but update file gibberish doesn't tell you anything. This should say auto-saving, and then which it will eventually. But for now, I'm just first pass at all this. I'm going to pop back over into drive just to show that this actually worked. I have noticed that drive itself isn't like live. It's not like watching for changes. So I have to refresh. And there you see there's been a folder created, Love Letter Extreme. I'll pop into that. There's nothing inside. Great. And the idea is that everything Paperize does should all happen inside of this top-level paperize.io directory. I have permissions from Google to like manage all of your drive files, and I do not want to do that. I only want to manage files inside this one directory. And I think I can change the permissions such that that will be possible, that there will be only one directory I can mess with. And that will make me feel very good because I don't need more permission than I need. That's a major security no-no, but we'll get there. Okay. Okay, so Love Letter Extreme. It's going to have a couple of components. It's going to have the character cards that you see to the right. And then you'll see, again, it's asking if you want to create a Google Drive folder. I'm going to let it. And then there's another new component to make. The other one is scoring tokens. And that's those little red cubes we saw. Okay, and I allowed both of those to create their own directories, and as you may guess, those are going to be subdirectories underneath. So Love Letter Extreme is right here, and if I pop that open, I see character cards, and I need to refresh, and I'll also see scoring tokens. So Paperize is kind of naturally creating an organizational structure for you. And if I look inside those, I've got image directories. And you'll see why that's important in a moment, though I'm sure you can guess. So I need a source for this component. Let me see if I have any. So I have no sources. And I have the ability to browse Google Sheets, and this will literally pull up. I can fetch my sheet listing. Boom. Here's my Google Sheets. So if I already had one, whoa. So if I already had a Google Sheet made for the game, good. I can find it here and just point to it. I think it finds like the 100 most recently touched ones. So if you don't see your sheet in there, go and modify it, and it'll pop up to the top of the list. And I'll make that much better in the fullness of time as well, but this works for now. But I don't want to do that. I want to do... So what I'm going to do is go to my Google Drive. I'm going to go into character cards. And inside character cards, I'm going to do a new sheet. Soon I'd like for Paperize to actually let you create one here. Like it'll automatically create a new sheet, drop it into the correct folder, and pop it open for you. So you can just go and start editing. And furthermore, it'd be cool to add templates for lots of game types, you know. Okay, let's start. So let's look at these cards. So I'm seeing there's a number, that's important. There's a name, that's important. There's a custom image for each person. And then there's a rule at the bottom, which is text. So 1, 2, 3, 4 things make up a card. And then the card background, this fancy background, will not be different per card. It's the same, as you can see. They are doing this like different color in the back, which would be really cool to do. And you could do that with images. You can do it with images dynamically. I don't have dynamic colors in the Paperize yet, but I will. So that will eventually come. But for now, we're going to be able to do. We're just doing a basic job of this. Let's go through it. I'm going to call that big number the rank. I'm going to call the role's name. Let's call it name. Keep it simple. Image we may or may not use. We may or may not use. I'll put an image in there. We may not use it because we may be able to just use the name to generate image names, as you'll see. And then lastly, there's the rule. And so this is important. This is how Paperize works. So the first row is your column headings. These are the property names. And I'm actually just going to stop right here. I'm going to save this as Love Letter Extreme. I'm just going to grab the URL of it right here. It's that simple. I'm editing it, no problem. Set a source, paste a link. I'm going to drop it in there. Drop a URL and hit import. We're good. The current source is now set to Love Letter Extreme. It got that name. And look, it sees the available properties. Rank, name, image, rule. You saw me just create those, and Paperize has just pulled them in. Beautiful. Not beautiful. It doesn't look like anything yet, but it will be. Okay, we're going to iterate this. We're going to go back and forth. So rank. So look, they go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice simple game. And then there's the name of each role. This is pretty fast. I'll knock these out real quick. Baron, handmaid, prince, king, countess, princess. Just like that. Okay, so now I've got some data in here. So let's pop back over to Paperize, and we're going to have to refresh this thing. So I'm going to edit the source, and I'm going to click refresh. And now the template notices there's data. It realizes now that there's data to render. Nothing's been specified to render, so nothing's rendering. This is a PDF, but it's just a blank PDF because there's nothing to render. So let's go and edit the template. Okay, so now this is the template editor. This is something. Well, we've had this before, but it's this was the hard part for the original Paperize, was getting a template editor into the browser that end users could use, and not just me who knew how it worked. But here we go. We've got this now. And this component is basically a magic card or a poker playing card, 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So that's what we're dealing with here. Okay, we're going to add a layer. We're going to add a text layer. I'm going to name it rank because it's going to be the rank layer. I'm going to scroll down here to the bottom, and you see here's the text template. So whatever I type in here is what will appear. So I'm going to add what will appear, and you're going to see, boom, what will appear. There's 8 cards right now because there's 8 rows. And if you see, I'll go re-render. I'll go pop into each card, and it'll re-render. They're all rendering the exact same thing, which is useful for some parts of your template, but is completely not useful for the dynamic parts, which is what we're using. So you see I've got this little blurb here telling you, hey, you can actually use this bracket syntax. This bracket, and then property name. And that will get replaced with what's in your spreadsheet. So I said this is the rank, so I'm going to actually replace this with bracket, capital, rank. And when that finally renders, it's going to switch. You'll see I'm rendering the 4th card, and it's rendering 4, which you can probably tell. For 1, 2, 3, 4. 4th card is indeed 4. Great. So I've got the rank, and the rank is huge on here. We'll just mess with the font size real quick, because why not? We'll go to 32. Looks pretty big, but I want it bigger. Let's go to 48. Great. Great. Okay, let's add another text layer. What type of layer? Text. This one I'm going to name name. And then down here we're going to be like same thing but name. Okay, there's the name appearing in and remember this is a PDF. Like this is what you're going to get. What you see is what you get. What you see is it. Like you're seeing the PDF. That's it. Whoops, excuse me. Okay, I'm going to move it over. I usually work in percents in here for no real reason aside from it lets me kind of eyeball things really directly. Like I can tell 50%'s right here and 25%'s right here. It's kind of easy to understand. And I'm just going to, I'm not going to. The idea is not to push pixels. Because I'm not a designer, I'm a game designer. I want to make games fast, not spend a lot of time learning Photoshop and whatnot. But I'll take a swing at making these, close. So the number is actually much closer to the top, and So I'm going to jump back over to rank. I'm going to modify its Y. I'm going to set that to, oops. What did I change? I'm going to set its Y to 0. And that's much better. I may even go negative. Pretty good. Oh, and let's show the dynamism. So if I jump back to 3, it'll switch to 3 Baron, 2, it'll switch to 2 Priest, 1, 1 Guard. That's how it looks, man. That's what it looks like. Okay, let's stop the dynamic stuff for a moment and let's build out the static bits. Okay, so we've got a circle around the rank. We've got a background behind the name here. We've got a background behind the rule, and then we've got a border on the outside that's just for looks. And I could, let's see. You know what? Let's take a trick from graphic design. I'm gonna go ahead and just copy one of these cards. I'm on Mac. That's their new Command Shift 5 gives you this like screenshot situation now. So I'm just taking a quick little capture of the priest there. And to get him in here, I need to throw him into an images directory that's already indexed, and that one is because Paperize generated it. And get this out of my way so I can find this. I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to change it. I'm going to change the name of it to whoops. Let's rename this to love letter template. Love letter template. Okay, great. So we've got love letter template. Let's go back into Paperize. I need to refresh the directory listing for that image folder. Okay, so I'm looking at my image library, and there's 2 images folders. You can't tell, but these are the images folders inside character cards and inside scoring tokens. And I should really be showing you that because 2 folders that say images isn't great. But I'm going to guess that the first one is character cards, and I'm going to refresh it. Boom. It changed to 1 image because I just added an image, so it knows it's there now. Back into the template. Now I'm going to make an image layer. Okay, I've got an image layer. This is like, I'm going to call this a template because we're just using it to like copy stuff basically. Okay, I go to select, and so with the image layer, you've got a selection style. How do you want to select your image? Do you want it dynamic, something driven from the spreadsheet, or do you want it static, something that's the same on every single card? This one's going to be static because I'm just working on the template. So I hit the drop down and look, it shows me the love letter template.png, which is exactly the same name I gave it here. So super simple, click it, and boom, it gets thrown in. What's wrong with what we see here? One thing, it's inset from the outsides, which is expected because the X, Y, W, width, and height values are all inset, 5%. So I'm going to turn X to 0, Y to 0, width to 100, height to 100. So now it's full size. It looks like I actually captured a little more than I wanted, and that's fine too. We're going to do the same thing with the negatives. Wait, do negatives actually work? No, negatives don't work. I'm clamping to 0 and 100. So there you go. That's something to add. We'll go with it. We're going to go with the white space. It's fine. Okay, now the other problem is that this is crowding out my other layers. Why is that? Well, the layer listing here is important. It's showing you the order that things are rendered. So rank gets rendered, then name gets rendered, then template renders right over top of them. Easy to change. Click, drag, re-render. Done. Okay, look, my spacing was off. So now we can see where we messed up. It would be great if I could toggle visibility or opacity of a layer to kind of reduce the look of that. I don't have that yet. I can only, excuse me, remove and add layers, so that won't be great. I'm going to make a note of those, though. Layer visibility and opacity. It's really crucial, too, that I only build features that are like important to the workflow. Otherwise, I end up re-implementing Photoshop kind of poorly, and that's not my goal. Okay. I'm going to use my scroll wheel and just slide this guard over into where it goes. Yeah, it's right about there. Yeah, okay, and then the Y is going to reduce a little bit. Not quite that much. Boom. I like that. Okay, let's drop back over to the rank, and I need to do kind of the same thing for it. Just using my scroll wheel to rapidly throw things into place. There's the font. Actually, I don't know why it's rendering this far down. You know, it's at Y0, but it's got all this white space above it. It's font stuff that I don't understand. But that's obviously a problem to be fixed. Not to mention you cannot select your own fonts yet. So there's this fancy font going on the actual game, and I will have this very simple, probably Helvetica going on. But, you know, Helvetica's cool. Okay, I got those in place. I now want to start kind of fleshing out the rest of this. So I'm going to do that with shapes. So I'm going to add a shape layer. That actually will work for the border. So I'm gonna make it 0, 0, 100, 100. Whoops, I made it 0. Looks like I missed an update. Wait. Oh, wait. What? Oh, the width didn't take for some reason. That's weird. Hold on, maybe I'm not. Oh yeah, look, my width, I'm not clamping to 100. That's interesting. Come on. So I've got a little weird update code going on there. That's fine. Remember, Paperize is in alpha, so it is buggy, it is feature incomplete, and if you're using it right now, expect warts, expect to need support, expect to give me feedback, and help me understand what needs fixing, because it's currently very collaborative. Not like hyper-polished end-user software yet. Okay, anyway. I've got a shape layer. Okay, so I've got the background outline. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna name that outline, and I'm gonna move it to just above the template. Now I'm gonna go add another shape. This shape will be the rank. The rank frame, which is a circle. So I'm going to set it to ellipse. And then let's just guess at the, what is this, like 20%? It might be 20% in both directions. So I'm going to say width and height are both 20% of the card. And X and Y are probably both 0. Yeah, man, this width isn't taking all the time, which is kind of weird. Oh, 20%. Really? My eyes deceiveth me. Jump to 30%. Jump to 34%. Yeah, that's good. And then on the height, let's jump to 25%. Oh, I'm trying to match the background, but not the actual number that I'm really working with. So let's I'm going to bring it off the top a little bit. Oop, too far. And bring it off the wall a little bit. Let's modify its color. I don't know. Let's modify its width. We'll make it 0.02. Wait. Whoa! I made it huge. 0.2. The width of the stroke is crazy. 0.02. There we go. Now it's a teeny tiny little line. Oh yeah, that actually looks. That actually is showing off a little more of what I'm dealing with there. I'll make it a little thicker than that. So 0.04 I think is where. Yeah, I'll use everything at 0.04 aside from that outline, that background outline. Great. It's circling the one pretty well, but I want it off the wall because it's like bleeding into that border. So I'm going to pull it off the wall first, and then I'll modify its width to match. I'm going to go there. Okay. So the width needs to come down to maybe 30. Yeah, actually. Okay, let's look at some other cards because I feel like I'm getting close on it. Wow. Looks pretty good. It'll break if you hit double digits. You know, suddenly that wouldn't be right. And I don't have good alignment tools yet, but eventually. Yeah. So it's still like touching the wall here, which looks a little bad. Let's see if I can get it off there without too much pixel pushing. Okay, I'm going to do that. I like that. I like that. Okay. Great. Ooh, let's fill that in. Filling in with black is not great, but I'm going to click color here. And these color slivers are wrong. I got to fix that. Let me make a note of that. Color slivers. Okay. Great. Background is red. I think I want to make it a gray. Because I can't do lots of colors, so I'm going to do basic colors. And besides, prototypes probably shouldn't waste too much printer ink, you know? Okay, I've got a gray background there. And I'm seeing, so this is covering up the rank, so the rank frame obviously needs to go behind rank. And it's back. Okay. Great. And let's make a background for the title there. This one is for, this is the name frame. It's a name frame shape. I'm going to put it behind name since we know to do that already. Rectangles, correct. X is going to be something like 20. Y is going to be something like 4. Width is going to come down to, let's say 70. And height, let's say 5. 5 is way too small, Lauren. Let's say 15. Okay, starting to get somewhere. I think this is all going to need to be behind the rank, it looks like. So let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, that actually looks kind of cool. Okay, back to the name frame. The Y, let's drop to 2. Oh, wait, you know what I need to do is the stroke width. What do we use, 0.04? Cool. Okay, let's bring the X on in to 25. To 30. The Y is like hidden by the border. And then bring it on down. Bring it on down. Okay, and then the width at 70 should really be more like 50. Is princess the longest word? Yeah. So princess fits, so everything else should fit. Let's go to 60. Yeah. Then the height is now too high. And that's a little too low. And then let's add a fill. Another gray. One 11, 111, 111. That's easy enough. Okay. And now I'm going to make the rules frame. We don't have the rules dynamic yet. Shape. This would be a shape called rules frame. Great. It's going to be a rectangle. Let's get the stroke right, because that seems to be the most important thing in terms of looking at this thing. X might be all right. Y needs to jump to like 75. So actually, this one's a problem because they're different sizes in the cards, and I don't have. Paperize doesn't yet support dynamic things like that, dynamic size, dynamic positioning. It will, but it doesn't. But as a result, I need to probably expect the worst case scenario, and the priest is like the best case scenario. It's one line of rule text. The worst is 4 lines of rule text. So, and that one comes up. I don't really know how far that comes up. I keep wanting to say percentages, but they keep seeming pretty wrong. Let's say 65%. All right, yeah, we're going to do that. Let's say 70%. That's what we're going to do. If it's at 70%, then the height only has 30% to work with, so let's give it 28. Oh, I just did the wrong thing. The width needs to probably stay at 90-ish. The height can be 25. And we kind of have a box there now. I'm going to let the height go a little higher. So you can see that I am pushing pixels around, but it's pretty fast, and it's not too much, I feel. And most of the magic needs to really, you do this once, and then most of the magic is inside your spreadsheet, and you can reprint things super fast. And it should be also very easy to share these templates from me to all users, and also between users. You can just share Google Drive files, as you'll see. Okay, let's add the fill. Set the color to 111, 111, 111. Done. And now I need a rules text layer just to make sure we've got this thing right. There's rule. Okay, and I'm going to use. We haven't made the rules in the spreadsheet yet, so rules line 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Okay, they all appeared up here, like they do. We'll jump them on down the page. The font's too big. That's expected. We'll drop that down. Whoops, 162. The font's way too big. Font 12. There we go. Again, I don't have font support, so I can't use like a fancy font yet. I wanted that by now, but it ended up being a little harder than I anticipated. But it will happen. It will happen. We need to make a long line. Oh, wow, look at that. It wrapped before it got to the end. Yeah, so I think I'll change that to line 2. I'm going to delete line 2. So yeah, again, it's really powerful that you're looking at the PDF live. Like this is a PDF embedded in the browser. You're seeing a PDF. So the fact that I just made text wrap and I can see where margins and boundaries are, that's it. It's gonna happen that way. Like this is it. Like we're working on our actual game product at all times. Okay, I think I've done all the stuff. I think that's everything. I'm thinking now about the pixels you can see through here on the sides of stuff and how you probably shouldn't be able to. So I'm going to actually connect them down. Shouldn't be able to because I don't think I'm going to find images that are going to fit that super well. Up here, though, I think I'm going to leave it open. So I'm going to let the rules go ahead and stretch the whole card. And you can see they do that here, too. Sorry, I'm not like trying to clone them exactly. I'm trying to show, workflow of creating something. But, these are prototypes, so best, close enough is close enough. What am I doing? Oh, that's rule. Sorry, I need to go back to rule frame. I'm going to let it connect with the and then 93 width. Should happen on the same side. Yep. And then we're just going to send the height ever so slightly higher, or the Y value. Okay. All right. So there's now you can't see past the rules frame down here. You need to bump rule to match that height change. Yep. Great. Let's look at dimensions. So I've got these options now for how you specify your dimensions. So X and Y. X is from the left, Y is from the top. Width and height. Width is how wide something is. Height is how tall something is. But maybe you don't want to use those. Maybe you want to use something else. Maybe you want to use top, left, right, and bottom. I have those as well. So this is the rule text. So the rule from the top, it's 71.5%. From the left, it's 10%. From the right, it's 0%. That's interesting. Let me look back. Oh yeah, because my width is 90 and my X is 10. So might should be 90, 85 now. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, that's correct. And then from the bottom, where it's up 61%, negative 61%. Oh, yes, it's overflowing on the bottom. It shouldn't go past that. So the bottom really should be 0. On that, so the text would have just flown like off the page and not known any better. When I go back, the height was set to too high, but now it's set because I set it from this inset style. Probably confusing things again, but basically, if you want to work from X, Y with height, you can. If you want to work from the top, left, right, and bottom, you can. If that's more your speed. Also, you've got the option to now not just work in percentages as I've been doing here, which is a little weird. I'm sure graphic designers are like, "What are you doing?" But you can work in inches. Because we print these things, we talk about these things in real world terms like that. And the component size is 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So if you want to talk about the X being a quarter of an inch, you can, and the Y being 2.5 inches. So this is 2.5 inches down. That's pretty interesting. There's also millimeters for the metric folks. Millimeters are great. And there's also pixels if you want to think of it in terms of the graphics you might be using. I think my calculation is, there's some DPI, obviously. 75, I want to say? No. how many dots per inch? I don't know. I forgot what the dots per inch are, but it's print ready dots per inch, and I just do the math for you. So anyway, you can modify all these in any of the metrics you want, and you can also switch on the fly, and they'll all be changed as you've changed them. So work in whatever you want. Great, that was a nice dimension sidebar. Let's look at all the cards. So we got the princess, countess, king, prince, handmaid, baron, priest, guard. Actually, let's just print this as a game because we haven't done that yet. So if I close the template editor and come back here, I can go to print game. And it just did this in browser. No, didn't phone home. So it just created every card. Which, you know, we're good here. We've got no image and we've got no rules, but it works otherwise. So I may not actually build out all the rules. I mean, we can do that. Name a non-guard card and choose another player. If that player has that card, he or she is out of the round. Look at another player's hand. You and another player secretly compare hands. Player with the lower value is out of the round. I'm just going to do this because I can. We'll do this because it'll be interesting to see it rendered. And everyone's favorite, if you discard this card, you are out of the round. Don't discard the princess. Great. Great. Back to Paperize. Refresh the source so that there are rules now. Back into the template editor, over to the rule layer. Wipe away all this and type in rule. There it is. Yeah, now we're kind of seeing problems because the text is filling stuff up. Yeah, the width is just a little too high. So if this is 10% in, but the width goes all the way to the side, so really this should be 80. And that's not good enough because the text is going off the card. Again, the guard is the longest card, so if I can make it fit, I should be good. Yeah, 11 looks pretty good. All right, now let's look at all the cards again. No, let's print them because that's faster. Okay, all that text I just typed in at great pains to myself is done. It's in the cards. Fast. So you see how we start to kind of like iterate. We start to accelerate faster and faster. Okay, another problem is that there aren't, like, this is misleading. There aren't one guard and one priest. There's multiple guards and priests. There's only one princess, but there's multiple guards and priests. So different cards need to be printed different numbers of times. And that's where the quantity property comes in, which I have support for right here. It would let me select a quantity property, but I don't have a quantity property. I'm going to go make one. I'm going to add a column to the left. I'm going to name it quantity. I forget what the quantities of these things are, but let's go backwards. 1, 1, 1, 1. 2, 2, 3, 4. What do these total to? I think the total should be like 16. 4, 6, 8, 11, 15. So what? Maybe there's 3 barons, or maybe there's 4 priests or something. I never remember. Okay, doesn't matter. Point is not to make the most accurate game. If you're watching, I'm sure you know better than me. Okay, so there's no quantity here because the spreadsheet hasn't been updated. So refresh the spreadsheet. Yay, quantity appeared. Now I'm going to say, okay, so look here. You see there's 8 cards that are going to render right now. Well, as soon as I say, hey, there's a property here that actually contains the number of times each card should be rendered, I set that, and boom, it just jumped to 16. I print it, and we'll see that it actually worked. 4 guards, 2 priests, 3 priests, 3 barons, 2 handmaids, a prince, a king, a countess, and a princess. This is one ugly princess, though. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but the idea is not to force our princess to look like this priest. So let's get some images in there. Let's do the images, and I think we're going to be done with Love Letter. So I have this images folder, as we've already used. I'm going to jump over to this other browser window and kind of do double duty. So I'm just going to search for king. Wait, is king one of the cards? Yes, of course. Search for king. So Google has this ability now to, well, they've had this for a while, ability to set, what am I doing? Oh, usage rights. Usage rights not labeled for reuse. Labeled for non-commercial reuse. Great. George the Third. You're in, buddy. You're in. Oh, great. How do I grab him? Oh, he's Wikipedia. Save image as. Wait, do I need to save image as? Can I just throw this into my drive? Nope. Save image as. King.jpg. Throw him over here. Actually, you know what? Let's rename him to be capital king.jpg. And you'll see why in a moment. All right, we've got a king. We've got a countess. I'm going to try to get all of them to be similar aspect ratio. I wonder, I would like them if they would let me specify that, but they don't seem to. So anyway, they need to be portrait. They need to be tall pictures, which a lot of these are. Oh man. Public domain countess pictures are pretty cool. Duchess, Countess of Benevente. Great. We're going to save that image as countess.jpg. Let's get a princess. Toss countess over into my drive. Oh, wow. Of course, princess is an overloaded term. Less fine art and more pop stuff. But I need to stick to the aspect ratio. I actually kind of like this one. Oh, it's tiny. There's the princess. I love it. These are all Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia. Princess.jpg. Toss her in the drive. Guards. What would be a good guard? Let's say royal guard. See, so these aren't like. Oh, this guy could work. Oh, this guy totally works. Love it. Save image as guard.png. Oh no, PNG. Why is it a PNG? Guard, I need to rename him. I'm going to change the PNG to a JPEG. He's not actually a JPEG, but my code will know that. It detects the MIME type appropriately. So even though it's named incorrectly, the name is going to help me select it, but the fact that it's PNG should be handled by the code. We'll see. Priest. kind of want more fine art. How do I do that? Priest fine art. Why not? Yeah, beautiful. Need a tall one. Remember, we're looking for a tall image. That guy's pretty baller. Oof. This dude's like, hey, guy. I'm going to get this guy because he's creepy. Because he's creepy. Ooh, flicker. I wonder if I can just... Nope. Flicker is going to let me download it. Let me download it large. Toss him in there. Rename him. Wonder why Google Drive isn't rendering my little thumbnail for these guys. It was out of render them though. Okay. Priest, Baron. You know what I want, don't you, Google? He doesn't really fit with the... Maybe he does. It's got like modern military medals and stuff. What do I know? What do I know? You're coming with me. Save image as Baron. Baron's going in the file. We're almost done here. What's left? Handmade. Prints. Maybe harder to find art for handmade. Probably not though. Let's just add art to it. Let's say fine art. Maybe they didn't paint. I mean, I'm sure they didn't paint many handmaids, but I think this should be doable. Mary, Mother of Jesus. This is her. This is our handmaid. Download the original. Open Google Drive back up. No, I don't want to see him. All right, and we're lastly on prints. Ha! Prince. Oh man, how do I say not Prince? We miss you, Prince. Rest in peace. This guy. Oh yeah, this guy's great. He's got he seems to have like a slightly different complexion, and I should note that I'm definitely throwing in lots of white people, which is not ideal for real shippable games. Don't really have time to be thinking about that right now. I'm trying to do a quick tutorial, which is already over an hour, but it sucks to ship games that are just full of white people, so please don't do that. Use Paperize to fight back against that. Okay. Images. Let's refresh that folder that had 1 in it and see that it should jump to 9. So 8 images got added, which is correct. There's 1 image for each role, and there's 8 roles. Okay, so let's jump back in, edit the template. Now check this out. I'm going to add an image layer. I actually want it to appear behind everything except that template. And this will be, we're just going to call it image because there's only one image on the thing. And this is going to be, so static, it's not static, it's going to be dynamic. It's going to be dynamic, and it's going to be dynamic so I can put text before and after a name that gets generated from the spreadsheet. So let's check this out. I made all the names the exact same as the column names. So I can pull the name out of the spreadsheet. They're all name.jpg, right? Handmade.jpg, prints.jpg. I capitalize them and everything. So I should be able to drop this down, say use name, and then the suffix will be .jpg. And it worked. Okay, we probably want to go to full size. Oh yeah, you need to be, yeah, you're behind the outline, that's correct. I want to take it all the way to the boundaries, so I'm going to do a 0, 0, 100, 100. Oh, the height actually will not be 100. Let's let it be. Let's let it be for now. So this image is actually taking up the whole card, and it's set to fill, which means there'll be no blanks in the rectangle I gave it. If I hit fit, it will not crop the image. This image just happens to be really close to the same aspect ratio. There's also alignment tools for center, left, right, center, top, bottom, middle, vertical and horizontal alignment. So the guard looks great. I almost don't want to look at the other cards because the guard looks so good. Let's look at the other cards. Oh yeah, there's going to be 4 guards. Then there's going to be some barons. Sorry, priests. Priest. Yep, there's that creepy dude. Then there's barons. Then there's the handmaid. Oh, she's getting cropped out. You know, I can't save you from all the work. I do want to. I would like to do like face detection on images and make sure they're, you know, let you specify like the good zone for your image, and then I'll align each image based on, you know, what's interesting about the image that you've given me. We can do that eventually. King, countess, princess. Okay, they're all in there. I think we just finished Love Letter, folks. I took the scenic route and we did the whole thing, but let's print the game. It's working pretty hard. I'm not showing it working, but it's done. Then you've got a PDF that you can take straight to your printer. I mean, so look, we stole a game. That's not great. There's nothing original here. But we also created a game. We went from scratch to, like, you could print this out and actually play it, you know? And it's got art. I would recommend not printing it at full power, but look, you know, Paperize can eventually do this kind of stuff for you, but, like, print it in black and white. Boom. You just saved all a bunch of color, and you still got images. There's always more settings for like quality if you dig into your actual print dialog. So save your ink on the early versions of your game. Like, make it beautiful like this. You know, why? I think it's beautiful. Like, holy cow, it's got like fine art all in it. But you can take this to the tabletop and start playtesting right away. Print it up, sleeve it up with old Magic cards or something, and you're good to go. Yeah, so hey, I'm going to declare that we are done with this tutorial. That was awesome. It was about an hour long, and we pushed a lot of the stuff. We used all the Google integrations. I don't know if I missed anything. I think we could actually ship that.